Broadcasting down in the bayou, it's Mark Out Mania, a podcast featuring two average Joe wrestling fans talking about the business they love and so much more. And now, here's Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to episode 12 of Mark Out Mania. I'm excited for this one, Patrick. What's up, man?
Not much, man. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. We're getting a little closer to the Rumble. Today's show, Mark Out Mania, number 12, January 21st, 2018. Huge news that could affect Roman Reigns' WWE career.
Right,
we don't know what this is going to what's going to happen, but it could affect it. We'll talk about that coming up. NXT's newest signees have arrived to the Performance Center. I'm really looking forward to see what these guys bring. We'll talk about those guys. Also, Royal Rumble odds. A lot of talk about, who the favorites are. There's some names on these lists that we have. Very interesting names. Also, the rumor mill. You have a story about a possible surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Also, we have another, kind of goes back to the Royal Rumble odds. We're going to talk about a certain person. That big news this week. Everybody's been talking about entering the Royal Rumble, possibly winning it. And then we have cheap heat. Some tragic news with Jim Ross's wife. We'll talk about that. Also, Kevin Nash not showing up to Raw 25. We'll talk about that as well. And then the Triple H lip sync battle. You have something to say about that. I did see that, which was that's greatness. And then of course Raw 25 coming up Monday night or tomorrow night. As a matter of fact, really looking forward to that. I heard that Raw could be bigger than the Raw after WrestleMania. So a lot of appearances, and we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite Raw moments of all time. 25 years worth of moments, and I tell you what, it was very difficult for me to pick some of these my 5 top favorite ones. But man, so many to pick from. There's really no wrong answers, except unless if you choose the Emelina debut, that was absolutely terrible. So with that being said, let's dive into our first topic.
Right. You can find us on the internet at markoutmania.com. We want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters, Cruz and Zach. Thank you guys so much. And of course, you can listen to the show live and uncut for only $1 a month, and that goes a long way to supporting the show. We would appreciate it. Also, we got 5 days left in our Markout Nation t-shirts. You can check that out at markoutmania.com or on our Facebook page. Just search Markout Mania. I want to send out some props to our bros over at Pro Wrestling Roundabout. They just got named the official commentary team for Elevate Pro Wrestling. And they're actually going to show those matches on Fight TV. So congratulations to Casey and Bryce at Pro Wrestling Roundabout.
All right. So with that being said, big shout out to those guys. A big story that kind of came up about a few days ago, earlier this week, involving Roman Reigns. Apparently, Roman Reigns allegedly caught up in a brewing steroid scandal. He was named by a person that was arrested in a $10 million illegal PED ring raid in Miami at Iron Addicts Gym. There was a video online, looks like it was on YouTube. Richard Rodriguez, who is the owner of the gym and selling millions of dollars of drugs to celebs, he called from jail and he starts naming the celeb clients that are buying roids and other performance-enhancing drugs. And his first example was Roman Reigns. The raid happened last Friday, and now Rodriguez is naming who was involved or, some of his clients. Roman is one of the major well-known names that he dropped. So with that being said, I haven't seen anything from WWE that it doesn't look like right now they're going to take any disciplinary action against Roman, because right now you have Roman. I mean, from what it looks like, he's going to be your main event guy at WrestleMania going up against Lesnar. Maybe if more comes out, they might. And, this isn't the first run-in that Reigns has had with some kind of steroids and stuff like that. So, I mean, Ryan, what are your thoughts on, Roman being involved in something like this, and how could that affect him going forward? Yeah,
I got 2 thoughts right off the bat. Number one, we could be on the verge of another epic John Cena promo over this.
Yeah, oh man, God, I almost feel for Roman Reigns because, man, Cena absolutely buried him in that promo.
And number 2 is, this Rodriguez cat, okay, you chose to sell these PEDs, right? I mean, obviously, the other guys chose to buy them, but you knew this was illegal. You knew you could get caught. You knew you could do time in the clink. Why is everybody a narc these days? If you're going to be a criminal, why don't you have, and it's hard to say ethics or morality as a criminal, But shut your mouth. You chose to do the criminal deed. You got caught. Do your time. Shut up.
And in this case, I don't know. It's somebody said on Reddit they believe this Shield reunion is absolutely cursed. I mean, Dean's out. Roman he got sick for TLC. Kurt filled in for him. We finally got, I think the only pay-per-view match we got out of the actual Shield was at Survivor Series against the New Day, and they won. And now Dean's hurt now. Roman's caught up with this. Seth's tag champs with Jason Jordan.
Lord.
So I don't know what's going to happen as far as Roman Reigns goes. Right now, it's really hard to say, because if this is as far as it gets, that he's allegedly was a client, and I would think if WWE drug test Roman and he passes, then that's the end of that. They're not going to say, oh, well, now if he doesn't pass, obviously they have to take their disciplinary action against Roman Reigns, which in this case might not be too pretty, because I think it would be a second offense. And I'm not exactly sure how the policy is, but a second offense, if I'm not mistaken, I know the first offense is a 30-day suspension, maybe a 60-day suspension. That would not, this is not a good time of the year to get a 60-day suspension if you're Roman Reigns. But if it happens, I mean, now WWE's going to have to scramble to figure out what they're going to do as far as WrestleMania goes, because if he gets suspended today, January 21st, he'll be back March 21st, which is in time for WrestleMania, but they're going to start building up WrestleMania obviously next Sunday at the Royal Rumble and going forward. So
yeah,
I don't know what they're going to do. I guess they're just waiting to see what else comes out.
Now, I'm thinking what's happening is probably since he got popped the first time, I'm pretty sure they're testing him every month.
Oh, yeah.
This may be news from back in the day when he was buying PEDs and he did get popped. Most likely this dude was selling it to him. I don't think he's doing it right now, because I'm pretty sure he's getting tested a lot. And I'm pretty sure his family got a hold of him and said, the next time you make a mockery of our family, you're done. It's going to be on. He probably get a beat down from all his uncles.
Well, yeah, because, look, Roman's set up to have a great career. I mean, they've said you done beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. That right there in itself. You beat John Cena at No Mercy. And now, I mean, he's won the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago. He's main evented the last 3 WrestleManias, and he's won 2 of them, the last 2. And, man, look, Roman, I mean, I'm a fan of Roman Reigns. I know a lot of people give him hate. I think he's been getting better, and he's trying to get better. But at the same time, stuff like this, man, look, they're only going to give you so many chances. They don't care how good you are. They don't care how good they plan on making you. You keep doing stuff like this, and drawing that attention to yourself like that negative attention. They're gonna show you the door, and it's unfortunate because with the whole Shield reunion and everything, Roman Reigns is a very important part of that, and I was just as excited as any other fan about the Shield reunion, and of course Dean's injury, nothing you can do about that, but Roman's not exactly helping his case. Going, and then you're going to main event this WrestleMania, and word is that you're going to win. I mean, you just got to be smarter than that. They're paying you all this money, and you're just going to throw it away by messing with a guy like Richard Rodriguez, who I wouldn't even, obviously I wouldn't go near anybody that even had the term steroid associated with them. So that's just what I think.
Yeah, and when you think about it, $10 million of steroids in the Sting, that almost seems like he's swimming in it like Scrooge McDuck in the money vault. Can you imagine how many PEDs that is and steroids? I mean, I don't know the street value of steroids, but God, that seems like a lot.
Exactly. And, from what I've been told, I don't know from experience, but it makes you shrink. If you get what I'm saying, it makes you shrink. And look, I'm the last person that needs to be shrinking. So, look, I mean, come on, man. It's sad that we have to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Because now, and thank goodness WWE now, I think in 2005 when Eddie Guerrero died, they started, implementing this wellness policy, and they started drug testing especially for steroids. I mean, come on now. Why would you need steroids? Look, I know this ain't professional football. I know this ain't professional basketball, baseball, whatever, but it's pro wrestling, okay? Mm-hmm. I know you got to have the athleticism and the ability to do this, but come on, man. It's not all about being the strongest, being the biggest. It's about what you can do in the ring. And in my opinion, a lot of these guys, I mean, look at guys like AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, guys like Shawn Michaels. Of course, I don't know if Shawn Michaels was ever on steroids or not. I mean, he may have been.
No, he couldn't have been.
But, guys like that, all these small guys, all these small guys that can absolutely, and I guarantee you, like a Naito, Okada, all them over there in New Japan, they're not on steroids. They don't need to be on steroids because it's not about who's the strongest and who's the biggest and who's the swollest and who got the most veins coming out of your arms. It's about what you can do, the kind of story that you can tell in that ring. And, you don't need steroids to be able to do that. That's just me. So
now I can understand why they would need steroids. I listened to an interview with Barry Bonds one time, and he said steroids can't help you hit a baseball. The reason he did steroids was for the body repair aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And if you can imagine a baseball player, yeah, they have a long, grueling schedule, but not like a WWE superstar.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
I mean, your body is broken every single day, and steroids can help you repair that to a point. But with the wellness policy, you're playing with fire.
Absolutely. And I think, I do believe there are alternatives. They may not be as effective as in body repairing, but there's better alternatives. And, with the amount of money WWE has, you would think they would have some kind of
alternative.
Some kind of like system, that they teach their wrestlers on how to take care of your body, make sure, if you get hurt, recover the right way and stuff. You don't need all those steroids to recover. I mean, like I said, it might be the most effective thing. Short term, in about 40 years, you're gonna really feel it and you're gonna regret it. But I think WWE, if like I said, this is what they probably did. They probably said, "All right, Roman, well, you know what? You're making us do this again, but here's a cup. Go pee in it." Yeah. And he may have peed in it. He may have passed. If he passed, that's great. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that he passed. If he did, and I don't know. So as of right now, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen to Roman Reigns, but I don't know. He got the IC title match tomorrow. What if he drops it to Miz, and then, I don't know. Yeah. What if he just kind of disappears after that without WWE? Of course, if there is a suspension, they will announce it. They usually do. There's a statement on the WWE.com, and they may not announce it until after he drops the title. So as of right now, we don't expect Roman Reigns to get suspended. It would be quite unfortunate because of the time of year, but if WWE feels the need to do it, I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, German medicine is on point, and they're light years ahead of the whole world. I say every few months, they should just send their superstars, like on a rotating schedule, to Germany for a week, like those doctors do what they do, and then they come back. I mean, it saved Kobe Bryant's career. Other athletes have gone and got procedures in Germany. I'll tell you what, I was trying to think of a German word, but I can't. The only ones I know are Gundag.
There you go.
And I got that from Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh, wow. Well, but yeah, that's what's going on with Roman Reigns. So we don't know what it's going to do as far as his career goes. We don't know how it's going to affect it, but hopefully, nothing happens. Hopefully he's clean, and hopefully, he can stick around, and because he's going to be a vital part of the storylines heading on into WrestleMania. But jumping now ship over to some new blood that WWE has now. The newest signees have arrived to the Performance Center, and there was a picture. Maybe we can, at some point today, we'll get this picture up on our Facebook page if we haven't yet. Did you happen to put this up or share it anywhere?
No, I haven't. That was the first time I saw that.
Well, there's a picture. I see it.
Save that to the desktop.
Yeah, I'll save it to our desktop, but it's War Machine, Candice LeRae, and Ricochet. They're all in their WWE.
You said Ricochet.
Ricochet, or Rico. I mean,
Ricochet.
Ricochet. Or, that's just the way I say it, Ricochet, but it's Ricochet. I'm going to correct myself. Ricochet, Candice LeRae, and War Machine all at the Performance Center. Tell you what, War Machine's repping some hella some beards there. That's great stuff. But they're in their performance shirts and everything. So really looking forward to seeing what these four, because you have one singles guy, you got a tag team, and then you got a woman. So you have really, you're going to add something to each little division there. And, I was looking at a video of Ricochet, and I almost said it again, huh? Watching a video of him, man, he is spectacular.
Exactly. He was also Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, and that dude is tremendous.
And I think I saw you put something. You shared that video
Yeah.
on our Facebook page, and you were saying how, well, I hope they don't really hold him back because his in-ring ability is second to none. And then you have Candice LeRae. I don't know too much about Candice LeRae. I do know that she looks damn good in that performance shirt right there. And do you know a little bit about Candice LeRae?
No, I don't. I've every top indie women's wrestler list that I've seen, she's towards the top. But I've never seen any of her matches. I did post a video to our Facebook page, Mark Out Mania, of the last match she had with Joey Ryan, and Joey Ryan gave her a great send-off. Had some really good things to say about her.
And then also, in other news, I don't think we talked about this last week, but Ronda Rousey has officially signed with WWE now.
Yes.
No pictures of her anywhere, unfortunately, but they do have the picture of Candice LeRae. That would be an interesting match down the line, I think, somewhere far down the line, maybe in the next year or two, Candice LeRae versus Ronda Rousey, because I feel like Candice LeRae, because there's a lot of buzz around her, she could be the Ronda Rousey of WWE, one of those girls that just kind of rises up. And of course, we still have Asuka. We got our Charlotte Flairs, Sasha, and people like that. And then Becky Lynch, I think, deserves a lot more than what she's getting as well. But Candice LeRae, she's one of those girls that can come out of nowhere, because we knew about Charlotte when she came to the roster. We knew about because obviously Charlotte is Ric Flair's daughter. And then you have Sasha Banks. She was, a well-known name. And then who was the other one I was mentioning? Oh, Asuka was a well-known name as well. Candice LeRae, a well-known name, but I don't know. She doesn't have the hype, I think, that Asuka had. So she can kind of just come out of nowhere, I think, and really take over the women's division. But she's got to start in NXT. And I think she's going to set the NXT world on fire. That'll be interesting. And then, of course, you have War Machine. I can't remember off the top of my head the two guys' names in War Machine. What are their names? You know?
I know the guy all the way to the left. He's Raymond Rowe, and he did a lot of indie wrestling in Texas. And I know a lot of the guys that wrestle for us here in Lake Charles at Full Throttle know Raymond Rowe personally, and they're so proud that he's where he's at.
Hell yeah.
They're so pumped for him.
But yeah, we got Ricochet, War, and Candice LeRae. Where did Ricochet come from? Did he come from? I don't think he came from New Japan. Did he?
No, Lucha Underground.
Came from Lucha Underground.
Lucha Underground, and he's been in the indie scene for quite a few years, tearing it up. Pro guerrilla wrestling,
and all these people obviously seasoned wrestlers. Not like a Ronda Rousey, which Ronda Rousey, in my opinion, she's not a seasoned wrestler, but apparently she's been training, from what I've heard. I don't think she's been training at the Performance Center. She may have been training with someone else, but these three guys and this woman, they could. I would not be surprised if we see them make their NXT debut as early as NXT TakeOver next Saturday night, because they don't need to train. I mean, of course, obviously they already train. They're already seasoned wrestlers, so they could just kind of jump right in and hit the ground running in NXT. So looking forward to see where these four end up in the next maybe the next week, maybe the next month. Who knows?
But can you imagine if Neville comes back? A match between Neville and Ricochet.
Oh man, don't tempt me with a good time, man.
War Machine against Authors of Pain, I think right off the bat is an amazing feud. When War Machine goes up, War Machine versus the Bludgeon Brothers would be a great feud. Also, what we're hearing that NXT is going to sign Laura Van Ness from TNA. She's their women's champion, and she's really good. That would be really good, too. I think I'm glad to see WWE. Chances are, though, while I'm thinking about it, chances Candice LeRae shows up in the Women's Royal Rumble. I say you got her on the roster. You got 30 spots to fill. Why not? I wouldn't be surprised, because that would be a pretty good way to really debut her. She may not even show up in NXT TakeOver, but she could show up in the Women's Rumble, maybe make a little impact. Then you send her to NXT there. You already kind of, you sent her out of the Women's Rumble. You showed what she has. You ever clear out all the NXT girls? Yep. Or most of them. Oh, absolutely. By herself, Yeah, because I think we're going to see some NXT women as well. Maybe a few, not too many, maybe 2 or 3. You better put Peyton Royce in there. Yeah, well we're going to find out in a week, man. It's only a week away. Absolutely awesome. So speaking of the Royal Rumble, big news this week about the Royal Rumble match itself as far as the odds of who's going to win. So I'm going to pull up these odds right now. Now, the odds-on favorite right now is Shinsuke Nakamura. Then next, it looks like it's Roman Reigns. Now, I have the list of odds up from different betting sites. I'm going to go off of Sky Bet right now. This is what Sky Bet's saying. 6-4 odds, Shinsuke Nakamura wins. Next up, 3-1 odds, Roman Reigns.
Then 4-1 odds is Daniel Bryan, and this is where it really gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
John Cena also in there at 4-1 odds. You have Braun Strowman and Dolph Ziggler at 5-1 odds. Ziggler's moving up in the rankings as well. And somebody was talking about that earlier this week on SiriusXM Radio. I was listening to that show, Busted Open, and they were talking about, he's like, I'm really surprised to see Ziggler up there because, they thought Ziggler was going to come back and fight for the U.S. title. But then somebody said something about, well, it would make a whole lot of sense if he came back into the Rumble because he gave up the U.S. title. He just dropped it.
Yeah.
And he can come back and say the U.S. title wasn't good enough for me. I want the WWE title. Because Ziggler's never won a WWE title.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't mind seeing Ziggler come back and saying, I want the WWE title. I deserve it. Because let's face it, he does.
Yeah.
And he can come back, and that would be a hell of a feud with AJ Styles, in my opinion. But he can come back, and I could see him coming in. My gut tells me he's not going to win the Rumble, but I could certainly see him coming back in the Rumble match.
Yeah, I love Ziggler, dude. I think that he has been underbooked so many times. I mean, obviously, people give him grief for being a wannabe or a poor man, Shawn Michaels. But this dude has it all, man. He has a great promo. He's a good-looking dude. He stays fit. He's been working hard. He gives great matches. I don't understand why he's the guy to get over NXT guys. I don't know why he's not a main show guy.
Absolutely. And he has been at times, but it's just been so inconsistent with how they booked him in years. So I don't know. But
he may not be the one to kiss Vince's butt.
Some other top favorites, let's see, 6-1 odds, Finn Balor. 10-1 odds, you got Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. Maybe AJ Styles loses the title to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and he enters the Rumble. That would be interesting as well. Kevin Owens in there, 14-1. Baron Corbin, 20-1. Bobby Roode, 10-1. Sami Zayn, 16-1. 20-1 odds, you have Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Yes. Samoa Joe, 12-1 odds, according to Skybet, but he's hurt right now, so I don't even think he's going to be in the Rumble. I even see Kenny Omega has some odds on here. Like,
did I see Big Cass right there?
Yes, Big Cass is right there, too. That's another thing, too. Would not surprise me to see Big Cass enter the Rumble. I'm not sure if he's healthy yet, but he may be. I don't know. He may, or at least he may be healthy enough to where he can come into the Rumble, perform a little bit, and then go finish healing the next month or two or so.
Is Drew McIntyre on that list?
Drew McIntyre. I'm scrolling all the way down.
I don't know if he's ready to come back yet, though.
I do not see Drew McIntyre anywhere on this list, but there's a lot of names on this list. If he is, look, Stone Cold Steve Austin is on this list. Billy Gunn's on. Hulk Hogan is on this list. Floyd Mayweather is on this list. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, by the way, 750-1 odds to win the Royal Rumble, by the way, according to, I don't know what that is.
He's got the Secret Service with him. They got
Patty
guns.
Power is what has the odds for Barack Obama and Donald Trump. But I do not see, definitely do not see any Drew McIntyre on that list. But right now, Nakamura is the favorite for the most part. Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles. Those are the guys who, and I have my winner in my head already based on what I've been reading and stuff, but I do reserve the right to change it, and I'm not even going to say it right now because I'm going to save it for our Royal Rumble preview show, which we're going to do sometime later this week. We'll update everybody on that as far as when we're going to do the Royal Rumble preview show. The scorecards do come out on Wednesday as well, sometime probably around lunch, maybe a little bit after. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how those guys at PW Scorecards do the Royal Rumble match cards, because last year I don't think they did them.
Speaking of Braun Strowman right there, did you see the interview with Ryback saying that when Strowman came in, he saw like he was lifting wrong and all this stuff, and he actually took him under his wing, and pretty much the reason why Braun Strowman is because of him.
Ryback said that?
Yes.
I mean, Ryback was the one that would almost hurt people.
Yeah.
Literally hurt. He had based on what I've heard from other people, especially CM Punk, he said CM Punk hated being in the ring with that guy because he was just so aggressive in the ring and it doesn't seem like Ryback was the kind of guy to really learn from as far as wrestling techniques and stuff like that. So if I'm Braun Strowman, I would be denying the fact that I did not learn anything from Ryback at all. But yeah, I mean, that's weird. Yeah. Braun Strowman has the chance to really be something special this year. So I'm really looking forward to see what they're doing with Braun Strowman. Could be the Royal Rumble. Maybe he's my Royal Rumble winner. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. You'll find out later on this week. So speaking of the Royal Rumble odds, I did mention Daniel Bryan's name, and we're going to jump into a rumor mill now. The odds, at one time for Bryan were like 60-1, which is astronomical. Now it's 4-1.
Yeah.
Somebody knows something that I don't know, because Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble, I mean, I don't know. That's interesting. I was listening to that show, Busted Open, earlier this week, and they were talking about it and talking about all these scenarios, like what if it comes down to Daniel Bryan, Shane, Sami, and Kevin? Imagine that Final Four. Imagine somebody also said something about what if it comes down to Daniel Bryan, because they were talking about Daniel Bryan winning, and then the topic of discussion was who is the last person in there with Daniel Bryan in the Rumble. And somebody said something about, what if it's John Cena? The brother-in-law is going at it. And then they even had this far-fetched idea, in my opinion, that it's going to be down to those two. Nikki and Brie are going to come out. They're going to go into their husband's corners, and it's just it's going to be absolutely crazy. And I wouldn't be surprised if they went that route, because obviously they love them. So I don't think that's going to happen. But
can Brie still compete?
Well, they're not going to compete.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. What they're going to do is this is what they pitched. I don't think this is going to happen, but this would be a crazy idea. It comes down to Daniel Bryan and John Cena, and then Brie and Nikki come out, and they go into their respective husbands' corners and root them on, and it turns into like a family thing. Or somebody said, what if it's Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns left? I mean, somebody even they said, if it comes down to Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, those two dudes could stare each other down for 5 minutes, and it would be similar. They'd get not a similar reaction, but they'd get a similar type reaction like what Roman did after WrestleMania. He just stood in the ring, didn't say a word, and those fans just booed him and ridiculed him for about 10 minutes. And they said Bryan and Reigns could just face each other in the ring, and they could milk 5 good minutes of that crowd reaction. Because I would go absolutely ballistic if it comes down to Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Now, the bad thing about this is my gut feeling, I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to be in the Royal Rumble. As much as that hurts me to say, I just don't think he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. But there are certain things that I have been seeing or that people have been pointing to that are saying he's going to be in the Rumble. Number one, obviously, is these odds. Why would they put Daniel Bryan so high on these odds? My theory is that some of these, but obviously, all of these sites have Daniel Bryan 4-1 odds across the board. Even Betway right now looks like 2-1 odds, but they also might have taken that bet down. I don't know if you can bet that. I don't know how that's working over there as far as if you can bet or not. But some of these people may just be putting it on there to get easy money because Daniel Bryan's technically not even in the Royal Rumble. So it could be a way these guys are just trying to get some easy money from their clients. But let's say, he enters the Rumble. I mean, holy smokes.
Yeah.
What a reaction that crowd would have. And right now, all I'm doing, I'm building up the Rumble so much to where if Daniel Bryan does not enter the Royal Rumble, it's going to be a huge disappointment. That will suck. But, I'm interested to see what they're doing with this Royal Rumble. My gut tells me Daniel Bryan will not be in it. My gut still tells me that, Daniel Bryan's not even going to wrestle at WrestleMania, and he's going to be gone in September when his contract is up. But, it's fun to talk about, though. It's fun to talk about the possibilities of what could happen in the Royal Rumble because, let's face it, in my opinion, it's the most unpredictable match of the year. You got 30 guys. You have, and this year, legitimately, I'd say 6 or 7 guys who could win it. I could see Nakamura winning. I could see Reigns winning. I could see Cena winning. I could see Braun Strowman winning. Finn Balor. If AJ were to enter it, if he loses the title, I could see him entering it and going back and saying, I want my title shot. Or maybe Brock beat him at Survivor Series. Let's say Brock's the champ, and all of a sudden, AJ's like, well, Brock beat me. I want to get him back. And next thing you know, we have Styles and Lesnar Part 2 at WrestleMania. So, or, I don't know, maybe Braun wins the title. Lesnar goes into the Rumble. I don't know. There's so many things they could do. So it's just really interesting to see what's going to happen. But as far as Daniel Bryan goes here in the rumor mill, the rumor is that he could be in it. Not only could he be in it, he could win it. And I don't want to get everybody all excited, but It's getting me excited just talking about it, but the bad thing is in the back of my mind, it's just I'm not convincing myself enough that he's actually going to be in the Royal Rumble and win it. But that's what everybody's talking about due to the Royal Rumble odds.
Yeah, and you were telling me earlier this week that Bubba Ray Dudley is 100% convinced that Bryan will win.
Oh, he was... Now, when I told you that, I think I was misunderstood a little bit, but he just kept saying it. Like he sounded like he was on the D. Bry pain train because he was riding that train pretty hard. So he, that's what he wanted to talk about, and they talked about it. They spent so much time just talking about what could happen with Daniel Bryan that obviously, somebody knows something we don't know. I don't think. And, we're going to find out in a week because right now I need to go on a 7-day nap because I'm ready for the Royal Rumble match. And I'm also ready for the Women's Royal Rumble match, too. We haven't really talked much about that in the last couple of weeks, but not much to talk about, honestly. That, we know what's going to happen. We know pretty much every woman is going to be in it. There will be some surprises. As far as who wins it, though, that's going to be interesting. I think it could be still one of 3 women. It could be Sasha Banks, it could be Asuka, or it could be Nia Jax. That's one of the 3 women I think who could win it. I'll have to pick one of those 3 next Sunday when we do our cards. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for the rumor mill. Daniel Bryan possibly not only entering, but maybe winning the Royal Rumble, and that would cause one heck of a stir in the wrestling world.
Yeah, and if they're looking for, I guess, to break the internet, that would do it. If they're looking for a bigger pop on the internet than Jericho Omega, Daniel Bryan, Royal Rumble, that would be it.
Oh, absolutely. So now you have a story about the Royal Rumble as well. In the rumor mill.
Keeping in the discussion of the Royal Rumble, PW Insiders reporting that they have seen Ethan Carter III at the WWE Performance Center, and he has canceled a January 28th indie event. So we talked about it last week. It looks like we're going to see Ethan Carter III in the Royal Rumble.
Those things that make you go,
Exactly. Also in the rumor mill, PW Insiders reporting that TriStar Pictures is working on a Vince McMahon biopic, and they say Bradley Cooper is going to play Vince McMahon.
I like Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
That would be cool, I think.
Yeah. Is he going to get all jacked up for it? Is he going to have to take the roids?
He might. I mean, they don't have to drug test him, so hey, why not?
And also, Sports Illustrated is reporting that New Japan was interested in booking Goldberg for a run before WWE contracted him recently. Could we see Goldberg in New Japan?
I think Goldberg's done. I think he had, his last little title run with WWE, and
money talks.
Money does talk, but I think money talked with Goldberg with WWE. I think he made a lot of money in that one little small run he did. And I mean, he could. As long as he was going over there, but that's the thing about Goldberg. I love Goldberg. Goldberg's great. But for the type of wrestling they do in Japan, Goldberg can't hang that long, man, with those guys like that. Like, Goldberg would have to go in there and squash some people. And I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what New Japan would have to do. They'd have, if I'm New Japan, I'm telling Goldberg, hey, you're not going to come in here and squash some guys. Like, you'll win, but you have to wrestle some of these guys. Can you hang? He could not hang with a Kenny Omega right now. I'm sorry. No. Probably, hell, even 15 years ago, you could maybe hang with Kenny Omega for a little bit, but even, then Goldberg was never known as one of these great technical wrestlers, like a Kenny Omega, like a Chris Jericho, Okada, a Styles, all these guys. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Like you said, money does talk, and you never say never in this business.
Exactly.
So that's interesting there. Anything else in the rumor mill you have? All right, now let's go to Cheap Heat. A story earlier this week, and I need to pull this up because I forgot to pull it up before we went on the show. But Jim Ross's wife, Jan, unfortunately, of course, passed away earlier this year in a car accident after being struck by a vehicle that was driven by a 17-year-old who was texting. And here we go. I found it right here. And no charges. This is what Jim Ross tweeted earlier this week. This morning, Norman Judge Stephen Stice felt compelled to dismiss vehicular homicide charge against the 17-year-old and my wife, Jan's death. The state objected to no avail. The driver never even lost his driver's license. Sad world in which we live, folks. Yes, indeed, it is a sad world. The judicial system is cruel, and I completely disagree with this. This is unacceptable. if you're driving and texting and you hit somebody on a scooter or whatever it was she was driving and you kill them, I mean, how on earth can somebody get away with that? That is absolutely absurd. And Judge Stephen Stice, I mean, look, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to let this 17-year-old kid walk from this without anything, look, if you ain't got to send him to prison for 50 years. He has to have some, and like I understand he probably didn't mean to kill anybody. He didn't have the intent, but at the same time, like, that's manslaughter in a way. I mean, dismiss, first of all, why was it even a vehicular homicide charge? I can understand, because homicide is like intent, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a legal expert, but vehicular slaughter or manslaughter, vehicular manslaughter, that I think they could have definitely charged him with vehicular manslaughter. And unfortunately, I think that might be a technicality. Like I said, I'm not a legal expert, but from what it says, based on Jim Ross's tweet, you know, vehicular homicide, it's a vehicular homicide charge. And based on that charge, they'd have to prove, I think, that the guy was meant to kill Jan Ross. And I don't think he did. And they can't really prove that he did, I don't think. So therefore, they had to dismiss it. So I don't know what happened there. Something went wrong, and unfortunately, it's the wrong outcome. But it is what it is. It's unfortunate. It's unacceptable. It's disgusting. But what can we do about it?
Yeah, I understand young people make mistakes, and they're foolish. And, you know, you want to take heed in ruining a young person's life. But I'm with you, Patrick. This is absolutely absurd. This judge needs to be disbarred. I mean, give the guy some time, but give him like heavy good time. Like,
oh, yeah,
that he only spends, if he's good and minds his way in prison, you know, he only spends 3 or 5 years in prison. And then he's on probation for 10 to 12 years. But, I mean, you took another person's life, man.
I would have gave him, for manslaughter, I mean, I'm not a judge, but I would give him about 5 years in prison. And, you know, if you're good, we'll let you out after 3, you know?
Yeah.
If you're good, we'll let you out after 3. Well, you know, but now the kid gets to walk. I mean, according to Jim Ross, the driver never even lost his driver's license. I mean, that's absolutely unbelievable and unacceptable. It's disgusting. It's sickening.
Obviously, you know, his parents may know people. I don't know. That's just speculation. But yeah, to have no repercussions over this after taking someone's life, I don't know how you can go to sleep at night if you're a judge after something like that. Even if somebody didn't mean to take someone's life, it happened, you did it, you're going to pay some kind of consequence.
Absolutely. So that's that ain't no cheap heat right there. That's some serious heat. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I mean, this isn't like a scared straight thing. This kid probably didn't learn anything from it.
Absolutely not. I mean, I get kids probably driving around texting right now saying, I got away with murder.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that he did, but it's a sad world we live in. But let's move on now to the our next cheap heat topic. You got something there.
That's right. Kevin Nash pulled out of Raw 25, and this is what he tweeted. Was so looking forward to being part of Raw 25. It's nearly impossible to travel on our downsized airlines healthy. With a total knee replacement, it would be self-inflicted torture. See everyone at Mania. Now, I got to call you out on this, Kevin Nash. Number one, let me just dissect this here. Was so looking forward to being part of Raw 25. No, you're not. No, you're not. Just tell us you don't want to go. Just tell us you don't want to go. Because obviously you don't want to go. I'm pretty sure they got with you in a well-advanced time where you could get in your Escalade or get in whatever vehicle you have that gives your surgically repaired knee plenty enough room and drive up there if you wanted to be part of Raw 25. So don't tell us you were looking forward to being part of Raw 25. You don't have to fly, right? And guess what? You can fly first class. You can afford it. You're still getting checks from WWE. So, you know what? Don't give me this. And then see everyone at Mania? Oh, but Mania is cool enough for you to go to, huh? You can fly to Mania, right?
Yeah, who says we even want you at Mania? Like,
sure.
I mean, you might go hang out, but you certainly won't be on WrestleMania because we're not going to see... I think the last time we see Nash at WrestleMania was at WrestleMania 31 when they did the NWO thing, when they came out in the Sting Triple H match. So.
Yeah. Oh, so you want to go to Mania so you can sign those high-price autographs and high-price picture packages, huh? Jerk.
Yeah, I'll Definitely won't be seeing Kevin Nash. Well, if I see Kevin Nash in New Orleans, I'll be sure not to tell him hello. So
you replay this segment to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna say, hey, my friend got something. My buddy has something to tell you. My co-host. Here it is, and then boom,
exactly,
line right there. And then we have one more thing on Cheap Heat.
Yeah, so you probably saw it. It was on the Jimmy Fallon show. We posted it on Markout Mania Facebook. But there was a lip syncing contest between the New Day and Stephanie and Triple H. And I got a problem. You know, I've said it before with Triple H putting himself over every chance he gets. Now, the stipulation was if Stephanie and Triple H won, Jimmy Fallon had to come to Raw 25. Mm-hmm. All you had to do was put him in a headlock until he said, okay, uncle, I'll come to Raw 25, right? Obviously, if you watch the video, New Day kicked their butts. New Day was way better.
I didn't see the New Day perform. I just saw, because apparently it was a big deal when Triple H started singing.
But it wasn't even funny when he did it. New Day was funny.
See, I didn't even see the New Day part, but...
I mean, the funny thing was he was doing a girly song, and he acted like he didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, to have them win, the New Day clearly outperformed him. You can watch the video if you haven't seen it on our Facebook page, Markout Mania. But Triple H, time and time again, puts himself over relevant talent in the WWE. Stick in the back, wear your suit, and just stay out of it. You're the Office now. Mm-hmm. You know? I don't get it, man. He's always putting himself over.
Well, maybe now he wants to put himself over more because, I mean, I'm going to give Triple H his credit. You know, as far as in the ring, he's put some key people over. I mean, he put Reigns over 2 years ago at Mania. He put Rollins over last year at WrestleMania. He's going to put Strowman over probably this year at WrestleMania, I have a feeling. I mean, hell, he's kind of, in a way, putting Strowman over after Survivor Series, or at Survivor Series, choked Triple H out. Triple H is like terrified of Braun Strowman, but you know, I mean, I like the lip syncing thing, and obviously it was a way to promote Raw 25, and I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Triple H lip syncing. That was just a sight that I thought I'd never actually see, and I think that was all a work. I think Triple H, because Triple H is, I think deep down, one of those guys, like, he likes to have fun like that, and go on Jimmy Fallon and lip sync Moana, and I think that might have been the plan all along, to have Triple H and Stephanie win no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Have Triple H, I don't want to do this, and all of a sudden he gets the mic and boom, he's like all into it. So, and of course, the New Day, fortunately the New Day took an even worse loss last year to Jimmy and Jey Uso in that rap battle, but I thought it was a cool thing to kind of get Raw 25 a little bit of exposure, because now you got all of Jimmy Fallon's fans, because I'm assuming Jimmy Fallon's going to show up, and I guarantee you he wanted to show up regardless.
Yeah.
That's another cool thing, too. It's in New York City. It's at the Manhattan Center and the Barclays Center as well, I think.
Yes, Barclay.
It'd be cool if they had it at the Manhattan Center and Madison Square Garden. I was hoping for that, but
yeah, because I mean they've done these cross promotions before. When Triple H came out there and he power bombed him through the table.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So Triple H there lip singing. Quite the sight. If you haven't watched it, go look on our
Facebook page.
Our Facebook page. So that's it for Cheap Heat. We're going to dive now into Raw 25, which is this Monday night, the 25th anniversary of Raw. And what a lineup they have. Holy smokes, the amount of people. This is arguably going to be bigger than the Raw after WrestleMania from what I've heard. Let me pull up the list here of who's all showing up. Of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to show up. In my opinion, he needs to kick off the show. Also showing up, Trish Stratus, Brother Love, Eric Bischoff, Harvey Whippleman, Howard Finkel, Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross. They'll be doing the commentary from the Manhattan Center. Jonathan Coachman's going to show up, too. I'm excited to see Jonathan Coachman, man. Ever since he was at ESPN, he hasn't been around, but now he's not at ESPN no more, so right. I'm hoping he can do more things with WWE. Yeah. JBL's going to be there. People Power, John Laurinaitis, he's going to be there. Lillian Garcia, Teddy Long, and Terry Runnels. That's all a lot of the announcers, managers, etc. As far as the old superstars coming back, the Bella Twins, Boogeyman, the Brooklyn Brawler, Chris Jericho, he's going to be there. Nice. I hope he brings the list.
Yeah.
And that's going to be interesting to see if he mentions anything about New Japan or something like that. I don't think he will, but I'm interested to see what happens there. We have Christian. Unfortunately, no Edge.
Captain Charisma.
D-Generation X will be there. The Dudley Boys. The Godfather. Hopefully he brings all his hoes. Jacqueline, Kelly,
Love me
Maria
some Kelly
Kanellis, Michelle McCool. They could all be his hoes. Montel, Vontavious Porter, the New Age Outlaws, Ric Flair, Ron Simmons, Scott Hall, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Tori Wilson, Trish Stratus, The Undertaker, and William Regal. No Kevin Nash, and also no Hulk Hogan either. No, Hulk Hogan's still, I think, banned from WWE after that little racist rant he went on a couple of years ago. So, I mean, that's a hell of a lineup there. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Also, Monday night, the Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Roman Reigns will defend it against The Miz. More than likely, that will be the main event. I wouldn't be surprised if The Miz went over somehow and won back the belt, because now, going forward, we'll see what happens with Roman Reigns. But as far as Raw goes, 25 years, it's been probably the best wrestling show maybe ever as far as weekly television shows go in pro wrestling. It's been awesome. There's so many great moments. I mean, I got my 5, you got 5. Yep. We're going to pretty much now go over our top 5 favorite moments, and we still got plenty of time. So our top 5 favorite moments, how you want to do it? You want to do your whole 5 and then my whole 5? Or you want to each do like 5 and 5, and then, because odds are we probably have some different. Yeah. Let's see. I'm writing mine down.
Let's go 5 and 5 and count them down.
All right, cool deal. So you want to go ahead and start with your number 5.
My top 5 moments coming in at number 5. Way back March 13th, 2000. We talked about this last week. Bubba Ray Dudley power bombs Mae Young through a table.
Oh wow, that was off the stage, right? Mm-hmm. That was off the stage. That was really, I mean, how. Because as you're watching that, you're thinking, man, this woman is really old. And that is not...
Every single bone in her osteoporosis body is gone.
Absolutely.
Turned to dust.
Unbelievable, yeah. And
she's a tough chick, man.
Yeah, they were some tough ladies. They grew up in an era where it was, I mean, they were tough, and they wrestled long periods of the year and all that stuff. For me, I'm trying to remember, because I had my 5, but I'm trying to remember where each one was in that 5. I'm gonna have a big Stone Cold bias too on this one. Let's see. Number 5 for me, I would say it's one of the Stone Cold memories. It's I would say Austin versus Tyson on Monday Night Raw. Tyson comes out, and then here comes Austin. Austin gets in Tyson's face. And he's like, you know, Vince McMahon's over here talking about you the baddest man on the planet. Son, you got your eyes on the baddest man on the planet. And he's like, if you don't understand what I'm saying, I have a little sign language for you. And then he flips him the double bird, and Tyson shoves him. And then, boom, after that, it's like a free-for-all on Monday Night Raw. So that right there kind of got, that was really the beginning of the Austin era. That was hyping up the WrestleMania 14 match with Shawn Michaels, and really awesome moment there. So that's my number 5. Tyson going toe-to-toe with Austin in, I don't even know what, that was back in 98. Yeah. It was about the same, well, it was March of 98, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
What you got for your number 4?
Number 4, Roman Reigns. This is my yard now promo after defeating The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33, April 3rd, 2017.
Yeah, that might be the best promo Roman Reigns ever cut. Mm-hmm. He said he didn't have to say a word, and the crowd was just so hot.
Yeah,
that night, that was really, really that was really a cool promo.
And just the total shock of the way he totally dominated The Undertaker.
It was, and that match wasn't that great. It could have been much better, obviously, but just and I think everybody kind of knew it was coming. Took a little bit away of the shock factor, but when it actually happened, I think a lot of people were like, "Damn!" Like, Roman really just beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and then, of course, had the whole, looked like a retirement afterwards, so I don't know. That's your number 4 there?
That was number 4.
Number 4 for me was the Edge and Lita live sex celebration.
Oh, yeah, it was
that
nuts.
That was good for multiple reasons. One, got to see Lita practically naked on Monday Night Raw. There was a little mishap. Lita had no top on underneath. She was bare-breasted.
Really?
Under there. If you ever go back and watch, there was a part where the cover came off of Lita, and you can clearly see titty and nipple. And the camera had to cut away, and like Jerry Lawler's like freaking out coming away. Oh, it was really cool. And then, of course, it got to a point where Ric Flair comes out of all people, the most sexed up man in all of pro wrestling history, comes out, cuts this promo on Edge. He's like, Edge, not only are you not a great champion, but you are dead in the bed, my friend. Once again, the Nature Boy's going to have to show you how to do it. And he's like, Lita, I'm talking to you, baby. And he's, doing the strut down the oh, dude, it was so awesome. If you ever get a chance, go watch that.
Yeah.
You don't even have to watch the whole sex celebration, with the exception, of course, when the boobie came out. But watch when Nature Boy comes out. It's one of the best promos, in my opinion, the Nature Boy ever could. And it was on Monday Night Raw the night after. I think Edge had won. He had cashed in his Money in the Bank the night before and beat Cena, and they had the live sex celebration the night after. So that's my number 4. It was really awesome.
Number 3, Stone Cold attacks Vince McMahon in the hospital, hitting him with the bedpan.
Oh, yes. That was
October
one of the
5th,
most, yep.
1998.
One of the most famous, segments in the history of Monday Night Raw. I mean, when he hit him over the pan, best thing, and then he zaps him with the defibrillator or whatever you call it.
Defibrillator, yeah.
And then he shoves the catheter up his butt. And, oh, dude, that was a great moment.
But just the sound of the pan hitting and McMahon yelling, absolutely hilarious.
Well, speaking of Stone Cold McMahon, my number 3, it also involves Stone Cold, Vince McMahon, and The Rock. It was the Monday before WrestleMania 15. Stone Cold Steve Austin drives a beer truck into the arena, gets up on top of the beer truck, cuts a hell of a promo that Stone Cold knows how to do, and says, all right, I think we should have ourselves a little pre-match beer right now. And then he goes down there, gets the host, and sprays down the corporation. And McMahon, I think it was Shane, he's like swimming in place in the ring. And it was an absolute, considered one of the greatest moments in the history of Raw. Yeah. Stone Cold, beer truck, really great stuff. That's my number 3.
I love Shane O'Mac, dude. All right, number 2. This is a moment I totally marked out about. We talked about this about a month ago. I thought these guys were like dead, like legitly dead. February 2nd, 1998, and you can tell my favorite era of Raw is War.
Oh, absolutely. Between 97 and 01, that's where a lot of my stuff comes in.
The New Age Outlaws roll Terry Funk and Mick Foley off the stage in a dumpster.
I do remember that. That was nuts. But, of course, those two guys in that dumpster, that's nothing for them.
Exactly.
They probably enjoyed that.
But I remember sitting there, mouth wide open, hands on head, saying, they're dead! Oh, my God!
Yeah, because you don't know what's going on in that dumpster, man. It's kind of scary. So that's your number 2.
Number 2.
My number 2 happened about March of 2001. I don't know the exact date for some of these.
That's got to be it, because you're the wrestling encyclopedia.
As far as dates go,
I'm pretty sure that's
sort
it.
of, but it was in March of 2001 because it was before WrestleMania 17. Shane McMahon bought WCW from right underneath Vince's whatever you want to call it, I don't know, right under, out from under him, basically.
Yeah.
It was probably the most surreal thing I think I may have ever seen in pro wrestling. As far as when I started watching it, Vince comes out, he's getting ready to announce that, I purchased WCW, and then Shane's music hits, and Shane and Vince were getting ready to fight at WrestleMania 17, so they were at each other's throats. And next thing you know, you see Shane pop up on the Titantron, and he's walking somewhere. Where is he at? And it was he was at Monday Nitro. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I saw it was in Panama City Beach, and Shane, it's the second I seen Shane pop up, and that Nitro name bar at the bottom said Shane McMahon. I was like, this is absolutely surreal right now. I am seeing Shane McMahon on Monday Nitro. This is absolutely crazy, mind blown right there. And then, of course, he made the big announcement, I bought WCW, so now we're going to put you out of bit. And I was like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. And of course, that invasion angle was a great angle. So many ways it could have been done so much better. But man, at the time when Shane bought WCW, I mean, one of the most surreal things I ever saw, especially on Monday Night Raw, when you seen that Shane McMahon name on that Monday Nitro bar. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah. My number 1 top Raw moment of all time happened March 31st of 2008.
Oh.
That was Ric Flair retires.
I had a feeling that's what it was. That was a really cool tribute to Ric Flair. One of the greatest send-offs probably maybe ever. Yeah. And it sucks that he had to go on and wrestle again in TNA to kind of I guess, put an asterisk on it in a way.
Right.
But as far as his WWE career, it was a tremendous send-off. I mean, the best send-off anyone ever had. It was a really cool moment. I do remember that.
Right, and I tell you what, I'm 38 years old, and growing up, Ric Flair, I didn't see him in his prime, but Ric Flair was still the freaking man. So, like, to see him go, it was almost like seeing your favorite movie actor die or something like that. You're like, oh man, what's going to happen? Am I ever going to see Ric Flair again? This can't happen.
Yeah, see, and I didn't get to watch Ric Flair in his prime either, but he came back to WWE in 2001 as a part owner of the company, quote unquote, and then he started wrestling and had some great WrestleMania matches, and then, of course, the last one with Shawn Michaels there. And so I got enough of a Nature Boy, maybe at the tail end of his career, but he was great to watch, man. It sucked to see him go. So that's your number one moment for Raw. My number one moment, of course, involves Stone Cold Steve Austin. Go figure. It was, I think, June of 1999. I don't know the exact date, but it was around June of 99. Stone Cold was named the CEO of WWE after Vince McMahon was revealed as the higher power. And it was that, man, when Linda and Stephanie came out, Vince allowed Stephanie and I to introduce you to the new CEO, and that glass shattered. Oh man, that crowd reaction, Jim Ross's reaction, Vince's reaction, it was all just so perfect, and that was something that was worthy of happening at a WrestleMania. It was so huge. Now, granted, Stone Cold went on to fight Vince and Shane in a handicap match at the King of the Ring in '99 for full ownership. And Shane and Vince ended up winning, but man, that whole segment, because the higher power had been built up as this great thing, and everybody was like, who's the higher power? Nobody thought it was Vince because they set it up to where it looked like it couldn't have been Vince, but they could set up to make anything look like whatever they want. Yeah. Turned out to be Vince. Then Linda and Stephanie come out, turn the tables on Vince and Shane. Boom, Stone Cold's the new CEO, and Stone Cold is, it was a great, if y'all ever get a chance to go watch that whole promo, Stone Cold, dude, it was absolutely great. And that's my number one favorite moment. There's so many great moments, though, from Raw. I can think of some others right off the top of my head right now that were absolutely crazy. When Vince got into that limo and it exploded and he was dead. What else? So many great returns on Raw, too. Shawn Michaels came back in 2002 on Raw. That was a great return. Shawn Michaels came back to the company after being gone for about 4 years. Bret Hart coming back in 2010. Oh, man. So many great Raw moments that, we could sit here all day long and talk about some of the greatest Raw moments. But, that's why I want to do our favorites. I didn't necessarily want to sit here and say what was the best because... So, let's do favorites because that way there's really no wrong answer, and they're all great moments. So, Monday Night Raw celebrating the 25th anniversary this week. I'm looking forward to watching the show. It's come a long way. Yeah. And then also another note I saw this year, SmackDown will have their 1,000th episode at some point this year. I don't know the date, but the 1,000th episode of SmackDown will probably take place sometime this year. Maybe early next year. I'm not sure. I'd have to get back to you on that, but it's coming up within the next year, the 1,000th episode of SmackDown. But this year, this Monday, 25th anniversary of Raw, all the legends and superstars coming back. It's going to be really interesting to see how they integrate all these people into with the storylines and everything, especially going into the Royal Rumble. It's going to be an awesome show. Yeah. And I had some honorable mentions as well for top Raw moments. Seth turns on the Shield. Oh, yeah, that was a big moment. Mark Henry's fake retirement. Eric Bischoff's debut. Yeah. Rock versus Hogan. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, and then Chris Jericho debut. Yeah, the Jericho debut was huge, too. Also, when Triple H came back in 2002 at Madison Square Garden, that was the first Raw of 2002. That was really awesome as well after being out for 8 months. Now, I've been to multiple Monday Night Raws. The best moment that I went to on a Monday Night Raw was probably, I think, in 2009. It was about June of 2009. Triple H returned and at the time destroyed Legacy. It was Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase Jr., and Randy Orton. And Triple H had come back after Legacy had taken him out about a month before that. And Triple H returned at the end of the show and came out and wreaked havoc, and it was really awesome. So that was one of the best Raws I had ever been to in person. And every Raw I've ever been to was all in Lafayette at the Cajun Dome. So also, the very first Raw I ever went to, the main event was Stephanie McMahon versus Lita for the Women's Championship. The Hardy Boys were in Lita's corner. Kurt Angle and Triple H were in Stephanie's corner. The Rock was the special guest referee.
Oh, wow.
So that was a really cool match as well. That was the first Monday Night Raw I ever personally attended. That was the Monday night before SummerSlam in 2000. So that's one that will always stick with me forever. That was a really cool night, getting to see my first Raw live. I was sitting with my dad and my dad's friend. I was 9 years old. Yeah, I was 9 years old watching WWE in 2000. 9 years old. It was not a show for a 9-year-old, but I was there with my dad and my dad's friend. We sat up at the Cajun Dome in the very last row.
Dang.
And they were still good seats. It was still great to be there. It was awesome. I'll never forget it. So, Monday Night Raw celebrating the 25th anniversary this coming Monday. Really looking forward to it.
Most definitely. And I think they need to think about hiring some of those Attitude Writers back.
Oh, absolutely.
It was such a great time in their history.
I know, but it's a different product nowadays. You know, they have to appeal more to the kids, and unfortunately, we're never going to see the Attitude Era again.
Well, as creative as those writers can do, they can make it work.
Yeah, they can, and I think we can see spurts of it. But as far as the overall product, we're never going to see anything like the Attitude Era ever again, and that's what makes it so special to me.
Yeah, most definitely. Man, another great show on our hands here, Patrick.
Absolutely, man. We are right at just over the hour mark now, so perfect timing. Really was a good show, man. I'm looking forward to our Royal Rumble preview show next week. We're going to download our cards. You guys go download your cards too. We're going to post the link Wednesday on our Facebook, Twitter pages, and all that stuff. Be sure to follow us at Mark Out Mania.
Yep.
Play along with us. We're going to probably release the episode. I told Brink, he asked me when we were doing it, and I said sometime between Thursday afternoon and Saturday morning. So we'll figure that out. Once me and Ryan congregate on that and figure it out, we will definitely let everybody know when to expect the Royal Rumble preview episode. So with that being said, I don't have anything else, man. Take us home.
Yeah, most definitely. And be sure to follow us on all our social media and find where you can listen and download our podcast at markoutmania.com. My name's Ryan. For Patrick, we're out of here.
Outro.
You've been listening to the Mark Out Mania podcast, a Lake Area Media, LLC production. The views and opinions expressed in this show are those of Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry and are not affiliated with any wrestling promotion or company. Follow Mark Out Mania on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. For all Mark Out Mania links, news, and free podcasts, visit markoutmania.com. You've been marked.